Hey everybody, I want to take the time to do the walkthrough video of new to me Factory 5 Racing Mark II Cobra. So here you can see it up on jack stands. Been kind of going over things, checking everything out, and just kind of putting together my to-do list, which, being that it's a 20-year-old car, there is quite a bit that I need to go over and do a lot of cleanup and whatnot. So lots of little things, nothing too major. So basically what you can see here, this was a vehicle that was built in 2002, 2003. It's a Mark II, primarily used Fox body donor parts as the Factory 5 kit requires. It was built pretty well, all things considered. And I did find the previous owner's for sale ad from when, or the builder's for sale ad from when he built the car. That was the original owner. I acquired it from the estate of the second owner. This was actually for sale at a specialty car dealer that was selling it on consignment for the family of the previous owner who passed away. So I was able to get it from them. And like I said, it's been sitting for quite some time. The vehicle, like I said, was completed in 2002. The original owner sold it in 2003. At that point in time, it had about 1,000 miles. I got it with 1,999 miles on it. So the second owner only put, about 1,000 miles on it in roughly 17, 18 years. So not a whole lot of driving was done with it. So quick walkthrough of what's here. The vehicle was built basically how they were designed to be built back when the Mark II was around. As you can see, it's got the Mustang gauges that were converted to be used. I do plan on going through the dash and putting like the classic style gauges that would be appropriate for the car, as well as adding the ignition switch in the dash, moving some of the other stuff to the dash that's underneath. Right now it has, the Mustang headlight controls and the Mustang turn signal controls tucked under the dash. I'd rather put the toggle switches as the Cobras originally had. Also do plan on getting door cards. There's a couple companies that make them, so I'll put those in there to cover this up. As far as the seats go, these are the fiberglass style seats that were used on the original kits. I did go through on both of them, and they're basically lag bolted into the frame in 4 spots. There's the way they're designed, there was no through bolt. I went through, and in the one spot where I could get a bolt to go through, I put a through bolt with washers on both ends, and then I also did use bar stock to connect the fasteners underneath the seats. So it just makes them a lot more secure to the frame of the vehicle. Little peace of mind thing. I also did add a slider to the driver's seat because I am only about 5'7", so I need to be able to move the seat back and forth. It was pinned all the way back and I could barely reach the pedals, so needed to make that little tweak. Other thing with the interior, there is the cutoff switch. Right now it's wired to be bypassed, so I need to fix that so it's working correctly. Some of the other things I do need to work on this vehicle. You can kind of see the bright work is a little bit dingy, to say the least. So I'm going to go through, try and polish what I can, replace what I can't. The hardware for the wind wings is kind of rusty. I'm just going to get new hardware. I found that from a vendor. It does also have sun visors. They're not on here. The hardware for those is also pretty dingy and rusty, so I'm going to replace that hardware. Same thing. The mirrors kind of pitted. I'm going to see if I can polish it out. If not, I'll replace it. I think those are available pretty affordable price. Going around the body a little bit. It does have the roll bar. It's painted black. That's in good shape. It has the chrome surrounds. They look pretty good. So that's all right. The side pipes, they're jet hot coated. They're a little dinged up, but overall not too bad a shape. So I'll probably leave those as is for now. Eventually I'll probably do the stainless steel with the true headers. Right now this has the shorty headers and then the J-pipe. Here, as you can see, the louvers are missing. When I got it, they were installed, but 2 of the louvers were broken off, so I pulled them out. I'm going to source new ones from Factory 5, get those replaced. As far as the wheels and tires go, the vehicle has 4 lugs on it. It has the bone stock factory Fox discs up front, and it has the drums in the back, all 4 lug. Right now, from the test drive I did, the braking on this is scary at best. 3 of the 4 corners are currently leaking fluid. Both fronts are leaking, and the right rear is leaking, so the brakes do need to be addressed. I'm currently planning on doing a disc brake upgrade in the back. I've been researching it, and what I think I'm going to do is the 11.65 Cobra rotors with the T-Bird 43 millimeter, I think it is, caliper. I'll have to do some custom adapter brackets and whatnot to make it work. But I do want to keep the 4 lugs for now, since those are the tires I have, or the wheels I have, and I do like these wheels. And right now, just budget-wise, I don't have it in me to do a full 5 lug swap and new wheels and tires. Speaking of, tires on this thing are the original tires from when it was built. They're date-coded 2002. They are Kumho Exta Supras, which I think Kumho stopped making those some years ago. They look brand new. They're not cracked or anything like that, but when I took it out for a test drive, they're definitely hard. I mean, this thing was locking up the brakes in the front with barely any pressure, so those will need to be addressed sooner rather than later. Going into the engine bay, previous owner, it's a mildly built 5-liter. According to the dealership I got it from, the short block was supposed to have been replaced with a Ford Racing short block about 500 miles ago. Unfortunately, the family has no records that they could provide at this time, so your guess is as good as mine as to actually what short block it is. I can say in driving it, it ran pretty stout. It's got a lump to it, so it's definitely not a stock 5-liter short block. I know the previous owner with his engine, it was an E-cam. I don't know if that was put into this short block or not. But like I said, it drives pretty good right now. It's got 24-pound injectors, GT40 intake, the Cobra valve covers that you can see, Pro-M mass air and intake with a K&N, 65 millimeter throttle body, underdrive pulleys. They're Jones Racing pulleys set up with the alternator and whatnot. It's got a newer water pump on it. All things considered, I mean, like I said, for the quick test drive that I did, it ran pretty well. It's running on, stock ECU and whatnot. It doesn't appear to have a chip or anything like that. So I'll probably leave that as is for now and concentrate on other things. Ultimate end goal, I would love to do a 427 small block in this. So I'm really considering building a 351 and punching it out to a 427. I also would rather have the carbureted style look and then use a sniper on it. It just, to me, I see this, and as nice as the multi-port injection is, it just doesn't look period accurate to me, and I'd rather have that period look. So the ultimate plan is to do a carburetor intake manifold with a sniper EFI setup on it and get rid of the 90s or late 80s, early 90s Ford EFI. It does have the first version of the Factory 5 hinges and hood struts. I did have to replace the struts when I first got it because the hood would not stay up on its own. Has a nice aluminum radiator with fan. Does have, I'm not sure what brand it is, but it's got the degas tank for the cooling system. So that's looking pretty good. The hoses appear to be fairly new, replaced at some point in time. So looking pretty good there. So I'll step back a little bit. Again, some of the bright work's a little tarnished. I'm hoping I can clean up the headlight surrounds. It doesn't have any of the Cobra emblems, so I do want to get the correct emblems for the front and rear. All right, come around to the passenger side. Same thing, I pulled out this louver because they were painted black as well. And while this one wasn't missing any of the louvers, it was flopping loose. So that need to be replaced as well. This side pipe, it's got a few scuffs on it, whatnot. All in all, not too bad. The door on this side is a little out of whack. It doesn't close right. It's definitely, the fit is off, as you can see. So I need to do some adjusting of the latch and the hinges and whatnot, see if I can get that cleaned up. Here's another view of the interior. Not too bad. That bag down there that has the sun visors in it. All right, and then as you can see, there is some wiring hanging down on both sides, so that's part of what I need to address with the dash as well. There's just miscellaneous stuff hanging. The ECU is fully visible right there. The wiring just hanging and whatnot. So things to address there and do some cleanup. I'm also looking at the possibility of putting a glove box in here. The car does have heat, but it's not the factory 5 heater. It's the heater that was available from Hot Rods. It's actually kind of center mounted right where those 3 gauges are, which does possibly pose a problem because I would like to do the stock gauge layout where it's got the 5 gauges. I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to fit the bottom 2 with that heater unit in there. So something I have to investigate is if I am going to have the clearance to put the correct gauges there, or if I'm going to have to pull that heater out, relocate it, something on those lines. So more to come on that. And then going on with the emblems, I do want to get the correct Cobra emblem for the steering wheel, get that looking right. All right, so the problems I'm most worried about with this, and they're probably going to be the biggest pain, right here. You can barely see it. There we go. There are cracks, or there is a crack, I should say, on this side. And based on what I've seen of these vehicles when they're in gel coat, that is a body seam from when the body was built. Appears when the body work was done on this car and prepped, maybe something didn't adhere right, it wasn't thick enough, I'm not sure. But there's something going on there where the seam cracked and the paint cracked. And there's also, it almost looks like a shadow, but there's a waviness in the paint. And that's actually in the paint. That's not buffing out. That's not a shadow. It's like lines in the paint. There you go, you can see it. So I'm not sure what happened there, but something to be addressed on this side. And then walking around, same thing right here. Through the gas tank, you can see the filler is just pretty tarnished, needs to be cleaned up. So things on the to-do list. All right, into the trunk. Do want to get the correct carpet kit for it just to finish it off. And there you can see that it's bypassed, so I need to fix that cutoff switch. I do have the battery box cover. I just need to reinstall it. It does look like the wrong size batteries in there and doesn't fit in the tray correctly, so I need to manipulate that a little bit. A few other things in here that I want to fix is there's no trunk stay. It's just a prop rod, as you can see, that's carried in the trunk. I actually have some ideas for what I want to do. I'm thinking of using actually what I have on the engine lid of my MR2, which came from one of the MR2 vendors, and it actually bolts into the hinge mechanism itself, and it works pretty good on that. So I'm thinking that's what I may try and adapt to this. Just kind of have to research it a little more since it's fiberglass and I don't want to risk damaging anything. So there you can see a little bit more of the trunk area. And the car itself. But overall, paint's in pretty good shape. In talking with the builder, it's Corvette Millennium Yellow. Here you can see another crack that's going to need to be fixed. Thankfully, fiberglass is pretty forgiving and you can manipulate it pretty well. So those are things I will look into doing down the road, is getting the bodywork repaired and whatnot. Other little things, it's basically just kind of fit and finish and clean up. The wheel wells aren't too bad. Pretty well done. Maybe do a little bit of undercoating or whatnot just to clean them up. I wouldn't mind getting some quarter protectors because stuff is getting flung around with these wheels. Maybe adjust, you can see the rubber molding there, get that kind of tucked away a little bit better on this side, and for the fronts, same thing. It's not fitting perfect on the front. More wiring stuff that I want to go through. You can kind of see in here. There's just a lot of loose wiring floating around, so I'm going to try and, remove what can be removed, tuck away what I can, things like that. Same thing here in this wheel well. You can see the arch and the weather strip just don't kind of match up perfectly, so do a little tweaking there, things like that. So all in all, not bad at all. It's just, like I said, a lot of little things that I need to clean up, correct, massage. I've got a long to-do list going, and it's going to kind of just be one thing at a time. So Just wanted, like I said, take a few minutes, kind of introduce the car, see, let you see what I have to work with, and go from there. So, like I said, the big things, I'm still waiting to get the title from the dealership. They said it'd be a little while, and then I have to figure out what to do in Ohio, because this does not have a VIN anywhere on the vehicle, and Ohio seems to require that. So even though I have a title with a VIN number on the title, I need to work with the State Highway Patrol to get a title sticker or a VIN sticker or plate attached to the vehicle. So that's going to be the first step once I get the title. And then the first mods are, like I said, probably going to be the brake system, because it's scary to drive. You're kind of hoping you stop, I hope I stop, I hope I stop, I hope I stop. So that's probably what I'm going to be working on as far as the primary goal with this up front, other than, I can do some of the wiring cleanup, things like that, while I'm waiting. So that's about it. As far as the rest of the fleet, no real updates on the MR2, still at the body shop, still undergoing paint stuff. This box here that I tripped over earlier, this is the next mod for the Gladiator. I got the rock hard rock sliders for both sides. These are the angled down. They, from what I can tell, are the most solid, best option to go with. They can act as steps. They can act as lift points for the vehicle because they are so solid and heavy duty, mounting in both the lip or the pinch weld as well as the body mount. So these will be going on the truck pretty soon. I will do a video when I get those installed. I'm definitely going to put grip tape on them as far as where the stepping points go, so no one is falling and breaking their neck as they're trying to use them. But yeah, those just came a week ago. I'd ordered those back in like October, I think it was. So that'll be the next video I do, is the install of those. And like I said, the MR2, it's still in process at the paint shop. And the 500, it's up for sale. Still waiting for somebody to come and take that off my hands. So that's all I got for today. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and more to come. Thanks, and have a great day.